Welcome back, everyone. I just got back from East Tennessee. We went to a couple places there today, talked to a bunch of people on the ground, and got some real info about what's actually going on there and delivered some much needed supplies, thanks to all of you who have donated. So speaking of that, if you guys want to donate with the effort that we were involved in today, the place to do it is the United States Veterans Corps. They have a donate page where you can actually just donate to them. There will be a link in the video description, probably in the screen here as well. And if you guys are local to the Raleigh area, you can actually drop supplies off with them. Just get in touch with them and find out where they're going to be and when they're going to be at that place, and you can link up with them. But today we had a signal, I believe last night, if I remember correctly. A pilot, one of my viewers, a great dude, essentially was talking to people on the ground in East Tennessee, and one thing they brought up that they couldn't get out there was industrial sized kitchen supplies, because there's so many people that simply don't have homes right now. And the people who are volunteering to cook for them and provide for them at various shelters across East Tennessee and Western North Carolina didn't have the capacity to cook meals at that volume. So I sent a text over to Johnny B, if you guys watch his channel. If not, check him out for sure. Sent a text over to him. He said he was able to get it at an industrial kitchen supply store in East Tennessee. I sent a text back to the pilot, and we linked up and made it happen. Additionally, in my previous video about this organization, I mentioned that there were some needs that were out there. Chainsaws, generators, gas, propane, things like that. You guys came through, and this morning, or last night rather, generators, propane, all that stuff was dropped off by the folks over at the U.S. Veteran Corps to the airfield down in Rayford. Speaking of that, want to give them a big shout out for sure. The owner of the company, Paraclete XP and Paraclete Aviation, he doesn't know I'm saying this, but he actually went with us on the trip today and was offloading supplies, loading supplies, and that's the guy who's fronting all the costs for the jet fuel, for the maintenance of these planes, all that stuff. And of course, he's not charging any of the people involved. So if you guys ever want to do any skydiving in the Rayford area or go in the wind tunnel, definitely check him out. Great dude. Again, he has no idea I was about to talk about him, but it just shows the great people that are in America. Again, he's just doing this out of the goodness of his heart, as was everyone involved, all the pilots, all the maintainers, everything. So just great crew there for sure. If you guys are interested in anything like that, check them out for sure. So again, we went out there this morning, loaded up a bunch of generators, propane, and then made a stop off in Elizabethton, I believe it's called. I could be saying that wrong. Don't get mad at me, Tennessee folks. Trying to help y'all. So we made a stop there. A couple things interesting at the airport there. Number one, there was National Guard members there. I talked to them for a little while, asking what they were doing. Primarily just at that location, at least the unit that was there today, was primarily doing logistics, dropping stuff around the area. And there was one team that was there at the time that was doing search and rescue. They had some crazy stories to tell. I may get into that later on in the video about what they're seeing. But we loaded up, we met with Johnny. He brought in all the industrial kitchen supplies that he bought and donated, and that was because of his viewers that were donating to his Patreon. He used that money, so it all comes full circle, right? So anyway, he brought that, we strapped it down in the plane, and we took off to another airport that we're gonna talk about here in just a second that you guys will see. But one thing I wanted to point out just about Elizabethton, I hope I'm saying that right, is that I actually talked to the mayor. Super nice lady. I do not know her politics at all. And one thing I just want to point out, because what you're going to see coming up next is a woman who's struggling emotionally as well. She's doing great, don't get me wrong, but she's struggling emotionally as well. And I just kind of want to bring that up and make that a little bit real, right? So the mayor out there was talking to me, and the woman literally in her hand was carrying Kleenex because she was just crying, because she was just so upset about what was going on in her community, and she was also very thankful, of course, that people were there to help her out. So again, I do not know the woman's politics. I'll just tell you she seems like a great human. So very emotional dealing with that. And then so we got back on the plane and we went out to actually deliver the supplies to the area where they were actually needed. A couple things I'm going to mention here while we're probably rolling in footage, before we talk to Linda out there, is when we actually delivered the cooking supplies, the industrial kitchen supplies, the woman who's actually running the organization that's feeding these people, she was at the airport. I didn't record this, unfortunately. I wish I did, but she was at the airport, and when she saw our plane unloading all the supplies for us. She again broke down in tears because she was so thankful that she'd be able to help the people in her community that she wants to help, and that people all over the country were donating to this effort. So I'm telling you guys, if you're donating, this stuff is hitting the ground for real. Real people are out there delivering it, and real people are being impacted by it. Just a lot of tears out there. Thankful, tears of gratitude. So with that, let me just jump over and we will cut to Linda. I don't know how the audio is going to be here. We were out at an airfield, so if the audio is not so great, please excuse it, but let's see what she has to say. She's a woman who's running this organization on the ground, volunteer. One thing she doesn't mention that I just want to put out there because it brings it all home. This woman doesn't have a house. She had a house on Friday. On Saturday, her house was down a river. So this is a mom, she's a mother, she has no house, and she's still doing this stuff for her community. So awesome human being. So let's hear what she has to say about what's going on and what they need. Welcome back, everyone. We have a guest with us. Her name is Linda. She is running the show here. So where are we and what are you doing?
So we are in Mountain City, Tennessee. Right up in the border of Virginia and North Carolina in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Okay. And I'm actually the owner of Skydiving Mountain City. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I do, but not today.
Yeah. So as you guys have probably seen from some of the footage we've rolled in, they have set up an ad hoc aid distribution center here. And this young lady here is in charge of it. So what are the types of things that you think you need going forward?
So right now, all the first essential stuff has been taken care of as far as water, things like that. Some of the roads, because we had no roads coming in here at all, has kind of getting repaired. So we're getting some stuff in. It seems to me right now we still need some generators. We still have people stuck in the mountains with no power, on oxygen. And some of them refuse to leave, to go anywhere. Sure. But also where to go. Right. That's another story. So generators, there seems to be the linemen here do need, believe it or not, bee spray.
Yeah, bee spray is what she said there, because the linemen are getting attacked by bees.
So, but also the workers out there, there's bugs, there's everything. There's also obviously a lot of snakes and things are displaced right now. Yep. So there is a lot of, Benadryl or just simple first aid stuff. Okay. But for the public, in a sense, for the regular Jane and Joe.
Sorry about the cut. We had a loud airplane going by. She was just talking about cleaning supplies. Go ahead.
Yes. So now it seems to be cleaning supplies, Clorox wipes, even something we have not gotten. And we don't need a whole lot about it, but still some tarps and tubs for people to put whatever they're saving, and moving in and out. Chainsaws. Yep. That's another big thing because they are burning out right and left. Okay. But yeah.
And then if people want to help and get goods here, we've talked about this on my channel before. We're partnered up with the U.S. Veteran Corps, getting stuff out of Raleigh in by aircraft. Is there any other organizations that people can reach out to, donate to in the area?
Honestly, that would be the first great step. Okay. Because I know they are taking good care of me, and I've known them through the skydiving community for a long time. That's a great first step because we are a small community, so it's very hard for us to handle anything aside of that. Sure. It could be this needs to go to Mountain City to Linda, then I know it's coming and I can make sure it goes to. We have a lot of private volunteers here, a lot of veterans that are out there doing search and rescue. Yep. We have helicopters dropping people off. There's a lot of surrounding neighbors that need help. Banner Elk is one of them, and of course there's another fellow skydiver out there. But Banner Elk, Chimney Rock, Irvine, Unicoi we heard about before. But all these little towns you never heard of before needs help still. Yep. So yeah.
Definitely the people out there watching this, a lot of them are trying to get it here. So yeah. Big thank you for you stepping up and running this. Obviously this is not what she does, but right around this wall there's a huge warehouse and she is pointing people, telling them where to go, what needs to go where, what needs to get on each vehicle. And
anyone that knows me knows I'm bossy. So.
I can see that. I've known her for 20 minutes and I can see that. But definitely thank you for doing what you're doing.
Awesome.
We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
All the people out there appreciate it. And guess that's it. We'll follow back in North Carolina.
All right, thank you guys.
There's a couple more things I wanted to mention here before we close the video out. Number one, you guys have probably heard about law enforcement interference and FEMA interference and stuff like that. We've talked about that over on the B channel and on my Twitter in different videos. A couple things. That was one of the reasons that I went out today with my cameras to film everything, and there's going to probably be more coming out on that. Stay tuned for that. But additionally, today was the day that, for those of you guys who supported the Martyrs Walk charity that I've been fundraising for as well, those guys were on the ground today, and they ran into issues with checkpoints and people not being let in. I will probably do a separate video on that total. What I will tell you is that today our organization, both the U.S. Veteran Corps airlift that we just did with Paraclete, went through, everything was good, everything got to where it needed to be. The same is true for the Martyrs Walk right now. However, that may not be the case going forward. Again, stay tuned for that. More to come on that, but that was one of the reasons I went out there today, is that there were some issues in some of these areas previously with these organizations that I wanted to film everything, and I filmed everything. Today we didn't have issues. Hopefully that continues to be the case. Regardless, I did want to mention that. Additionally, touching on what Linda was talking about for stuff they need, one thing I did, and I just thought about it, and I don't know, it wasn't from a demand signal. I just thought these people probably need flashlights, right? You guys hate on me for doing OLED videos, but guess what? I brought 40 freaking flashlights out there, all, high output flashlights for them. And the woman I gave them to said, like, she was so excited. She's like, we couldn't get flashlights. We haven't been able to get flashlights. So she was very excited about that. And she said, we need more flashlights even after that. So that's something, if you guys want to donate in person, I would imagine that place, that location is not the only county where that is the case. Additionally, one thing I want to point out that I probably got footage of, but you probably can't tell what's happening based on the footage, is that what was happening now that there are emergency cell towers set up in that area, they're like temporary cell towers and people are able to get service. It actually doesn't matter what carrier they're with, but they're able to, if they can get service. Obviously it's a mountain community, not everyone can, but what they're doing is they're sending text messages with their PIN of their address and what they need. One of them that came in there while I was filming, like while I was standing there, was a guy who had a generator, but his dad was on a ventilation system of some sort that actually manually exercised his lungs, and he couldn't get out to get propane for his generator. He had a propane generator. And so they airdropped the location to them. While I was there, vehicles left with the propane tanks that we had to get to that person to keep his to keep his lungs functioning. So that is how critical this stuff is on the ground. Random YouTubers showing up with propane literally probably saved that guy's life. And obviously it's not me, it's the people who are behind this. But that's the kind of crazy stuff that is happening there all day, every day, 24 hours a day, with the lack of resources, and then of course the resources that are being brought in. So these resources still need to be brought in regardless of who's bringing them in. And again, hopefully that continues on. A couple things I want to touch on. I think I already said that, but one thing that I think is hard to get, and I tried to film some of this, guys. We're filming from inside a casa, so the video's not going to be that good. But a couple things. Number one, today is Thursday, so it's almost been a week afterwards. And one thing that was crazy is how much water there still is on the ground, how much flooding there still is. So I'm going to talk about bodies here in just a second, but I did not expect that. I expected most of the water to be receded, and I'm sure most of it is, but the amount that's still there is insane. Like, there is still historic flooding on the ground today. We saw it with our own eyes from the aircraft in multiple locations across East Tennessee and across Western North Carolina. That was one thing that surprised me. The other thing that surprised me that I haven't really seen as much on social media, because obviously everyone is showing you photos of drones and stuff like that of water damage, which is real and important that everyone understands. But one thing I haven't seen as much of that is just massive is the trees. Like, there are, it looks like clear-cut forests all along valleys across the mountains, both North Carolina and Tennessee. I mean, it looks like they were clear-cut. That's exactly what it looks like, because so much water pushed them over. And I was talking to a guy who was one of the search and rescue guys, and he said they went in there with dirt bikes, and they thought that was going to be like a solution to get to some of these places, these remote places that they can't bring helicopters into because the trees are so thick. But the problem was they couldn't cross all these trees that were cut down by the water and obviously in their way. And so they were trying to navigate around it, but it was taking what would have been a 10-minute trip. Literally, the guy said it took 9 hours because they're having to clear everything and maneuver around all these downed trees. So that just makes the helicopter situation more important. But again, a lot of places helicopters can't get into are right next to where these downed trees are that don't have roads going into them anymore. So the complications that come with being in a mountain town that has very little roads functioning in it is huge right now. And obviously they're out there working through it right now, but it's something I haven't really seen on social media. And when I was out there in person looking at it, it's very obvious that that is going to be a big problem there. Additionally, talking about bodies, we were at the airport, the second airfield we went to, where Linda was. One thing they were discussing in terms of like the actual logistics behind it is how they're going to deal with evacuating all the dead bodies. So every day now, as the water goes down a little bit, they're discovering more and more and more of these bodies. And like I said, there is a ton of water still out there. So there's no doubt that there are bodies in there. And like right down the road from where the airport was, just this morning, one of the workers coming in, she was driving in along, a road. Most of the roads in that area follow rivers. That's kind of how it works because most of the rivers are in valleys in the mountains, if that makes sense. And so she literally was driving in, and the water had receded from one of the creek lines, and there was a dead body that they had to recover right there on the spot. So it's right now, I think the official death number is like 150 or something like that. I just saw. It's way more than that, way more. When you see the scale of it in person, particularly from the air, I mean, there is a lot of damage out there. This is going to be something that's remembered by history, folks. So yeah, I guess that'll be the end of my rant, but the end of the video for today. Before we close it out, number one, of course, Brownell's main channel sponsor here. They sponsored this video as well. All the money from that sponsorship is going towards to help these people today. But of course, they do support what we do here. That always helps, so want to give them a shout out as well. Again, just all the people that are volunteering to help with this on the ground. Awesome. Again, for this particular video, the organization that worked with us is the United States Veteran Corps, doing great work out of Raleigh. Separate videos you guys may have seen. Again, the Martyrs Walk. They went out there. They were planning initially on just doing a one-day operation to drop supplies. They got out there. They're like, we can't do it. We have to continue this because the need is so great, and they're still continuing to raise money as well. There will be links for both if you guys want to donate. I'm telling you, they're good people. They're on the ground. They're real. It's not like the Red Cross that it's also diverting funds into other things. These people are giving it all to these people and not charging anything for it, for their time and their services. So great effort for sure. All right, we're going to end it there. If you guys aren't following me on social media, definitely do so. That's where the updates go for these kind of things. I can't make a full video with all the editing and everything. So just any kind of updates that come on the situation, if I'm going back out there, where I'm going, all that stuff will be updated on my social media. So follow me there, particularly the non-Zuckerberg ones. Additionally, if you guys like this type of video, unfortunately, it might not be the last one. Hit the subscribe button. If you've done that and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, make sure you sign up for my email at the website on your screen. This email goes out once a month. It has all the videos since the previous month's email went out. So that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content. I have a feeling this content will be censored, particularly on YouTube. Additionally, daily deals is something we normally do. We normally talk about gun stuff here on the channel and accessories. So if you guys are interested in that, sign up for the daily deals at the website here on your screen. 8 of the best deals that we find around the internet. And that's it, guys. So we're going to end it with saying that there's a lot of pain and suffering right now out there in these areas, but there's hope. And you guys out there who are volunteering, who are watching this video, if you can't donate, share the video, let people know. That's just as important. The hope is there because of you guys. So that's it. All right. We'll see you in the next video.